So, believers, if you say that I believe in Jesus Christ and that you are regenerated, you will experience oppositions. Why? Because you believe in the gospel. You're probably asking, so Pastor, why do God allows oppositions? Read in this text, Peter and John, they did a good thing. They're able to heal this lame man. Not only were they able to heal this lame man, they were able to give an opportunity to share the gospel. Why did God allow the Sadducees and the temple guards, why did God allow these unbiblical religious leaders to oppose them, to persecute them? Well, what? I believe that God allows opposition for what? Sanctification. Sanctification. The word sanctification means to be set apart, to be more like Jesus Christ and less like yourself. Second, the reason why God allows oppositions, because at the end of the day, it's all for His glory. Because at the end of the day, through your suffering, through the oppositions, God will be glorified. And James chapter 1, verse 2 to 3 says what? Consider it all joy, my brethren, when you encounter various trials. Verse 3, knowing that the testing of your faith produces what? Endurance. And verse 4, and let endurance have its perfect result, so that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. So that through your persecutions, through your trials, you'll be what? Complete, lacking in nothing. It's through your trials that set you apart. It's through your trials that sanctify you to be more like Jesus Christ. So God didn't send oppositions to you because, you know what? I just want to mess around with you. I just want to toy with you. Or He didn't send opposition to you so that, He just wanted to, because He hates you. He dislikes you. I'm reading through the book of Job, and Satan made a deal with God. He said, God, the reason why Job, he loves you, the reason why he worships you, because, you give everything to him. And God says to Satan, go ahead. You know what? You can touch him, you can oppose him, but you just can't take his life. So Job, he lost everything. He lost his family. He lost his wealth. He basically lost the majority of his health. But because of Job and his faithfulness to God, at the end, what happened? God honored Job. God blessed Job. Amen to that? He had 2 times more than what he lost. Like when James chapter 2 verse 4 says what? And let endurance have its perfect result, so that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. It's through oppositions that sharpen us, that refine us. 1 Peter chapter 1 verse 6 to 7 says what? In this you greatly rejoice, even though now for a little while, if necessary, you have been distressed by various trials, so that the proof of your faith, being more precious than gold, which is perishable, and even though tested by fire, may be found to result in praise and glory and honor at the revelation of Jesus Christ. So we learn that God allows oppositions for us as believers so that we can be sanctified, to be more like Jesus Christ, so that we can be made complete. But God allows oppositions so that at the end of the day, who gets the glory? Jesus does. In verse 7 here in James, Peter says what? So that the proof of your faith, being more precious than gold, which is perishable, even through faith, even though tested by fire, may be found to result in praise and glory and honor at the revelation of Jesus Christ. So God allowed Peter and John to go through trials, to experience oppositions by the Sadducees, by the temple guards, by these unbiblical religious leaders. And so what was the results of Peter's and John's faith? Verse 4 says what? But many of those who had heard the message believed, and the number of men came to be about what? 5,000. So the result of Peter's and John's faithfulness ended with what? The belief of 5,000 new believers. Amen to that, church. Amen. God allows Peter and John to experience opposition so that one, they can be sanctified, and two, God can be glorified. It sharpens their faith. It sharpens their character to be more like who? To be more like Jesus Christ. And who gets the glory? God did. How? Because there were 5,000 new believers. Amen to that, church.